Hey witches, welcome to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy, a magical living podcast for the busy witch. I'm Morgan, eclectic witch of almost 25 years, Avalon priestess, and busy witch. Here we'll talk all things witchy, from current metaphysical happenings to my busy witch tips and tricks, and everything in the in-between. This podcast is my personal journey, filled with my knowledge, opinions, and unique way of looking at the world. Join me as I weave the magical and the mundane in every episode. Hey witches, welcome back to Busy, Gritty, Inked, and Witchy. I'm Morgan, and today I have no idea what I am talking about. I know I just did this a couple of weeks ago, but things are a little chaotic right now. I don't know if you have been following my stories on Instagram. Crowley my cat, has been in and out of the ER. We don't really know what's happening right now. So they're doing some testing and some ultrasounds, and it gave me about a 2-hour window to head back to work. And I said, all right, I had an idea of what I was going to do for this week's podcast episode. And, instead of sitting there and kind of writing it down and formulating it a little bit more, I said, you know what, I'm just going to riff it. So that's what I'm doing today. The general consensus or the general idea of today's podcast episode, I was going to start out talking about Pluto entering Aquarius and what that means. But this episode was really about chatting with you all. And I know that if you're sitting there saying, Morgan, this is a podcast, how am I supposed to chat with you? Like, you can answer me all you want to, but I won't know about it. That's what I wanted to do, is kind of make this a little bit more interactive, ask for y'all's opinions and things like that. And I was going to tie it all together. But this is what you're getting today is what happens when I have an idea and without fully planning it and thinking it out, I just do it, which I'm actually usually really good about. So let's see how this goes. So the biggest overall thing for today was, yes, I wanted to get y'all's opinions on the podcast, topics you want to see, things like that. And I wanted to weave in Pluto moving into Aquarius, because that just happened on the 19th of November. And so I know for those of you that aren't really into astrology, you might start to have your eyes glaze over right now, but this transition is huge. And I want to just take a couple of minutes to explain how and why. Okay. So for the last 16 years, Pluto, which is the planet of death, rebirth, transformation, all of that good growth, spiritual growth as well, has been in Capricorn, okay? When Pluto entered Capricorn in 2008, the housing market crash happened, okay? And I don't know if you all are familiar with this, but when the housing market crash happened, the government bailed out all of the banks, okay? And that, in a nutshell, is Pluto and Capricorn. Pluto and Capricorn, the last 16 years have been Pluto, the planet of rebirth and death and transformation, in Capricorn. And Capricorn, while Capricorn energy is earth grounded, extremely hardworking, there is a dark side to every sign. But the dark side to Capricorn is doing whatever it takes to get to the top, being cutthroat, being so rigid that you do not see anything else around you. And so what has happened has been the rise of big corporations. And not only that, but big corporations taking advantage of the average person. And when the big corporations get into trouble, they're just bailed out. Okay. So that is what the last 16 years have been, is this huge, heavy transformational energy, because anything Pluto does is going to be transformational. But it really appealed to, in my opinion, and not only my opinion, but a lot of astrologers out there, it appealed to the darker side of Capricorn, okay? So what this means is now Pluto is in Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius is an air sign. It is all about freedom, thinking, free thinking, intellectualism, humanitarianism, and looking at the greater good. Okay, so what we're going to start seeing, and this shift started on November 19th. It will last for the next 19 years. And what we should start seeing with Pluto entering Aquarius is huge transformations again, but this time it's for the greater good. It is humanitarian based. It is looking at the little people and looking and taking them into consideration as well. Okay, we're going to see a lot of spiritual growth. We're going to see a lot of free thinking. We're going to see advancements in technology, in things that can help the collective rather than big corporations. Okay, that is supposed to be the energy for the next 19 years. As an Aquarius sun, Leo moon, Leo rising, which is me, I am extremely excited about this. I feel like the last 16 years have been an absolute massive roller coaster for me. But I will let you all know that I did not know it at the time, but the worst 3 years of my life were 2008 to 2011. And it is during that time I personally felt extremely lost. I walked away from my spirituality. I walked away from my marriage. I did not know who I was or what I wanted to do in this world. And I tried really hard to just ruin my life and make really stupid fucking decisions. But I survived and I got my footing back under me. I really started to devote my time to my family again, to figuring out who I was and doing it from a safe place instead of just all over the place the way that I was. Okay. So for me, hearing that Pluto went into Capricorn and like, these are all of the things that have happened. And when that happened in 2008, that also coincided for me with the worst 3 years of my life. I was like, well, damn, like, there's some shit to this astrology stuff, y'all. Like, there seriously can be, you know? So I am extremely happy about this transit. I can tell you that because I'm not huge into astrology, there are going to be signs that are affected more than others. I believe the cardinal signs will be affected as well as fixed signs, and Aquarius and Leo are both fixed signs, and that's what I have heavily, like a lot of. So I do want you to do your own research on this. And then when you're reading the articles, get out of it, what you can. But from what I've been reading, at least for me, especially with Aquarius and Leo placements, the next 19 years are supposed to be extremely, abundant. They're supposed to be a time of immense spiritual growth, personal growth, and as a society, we're supposed to start seeing everyone come together and work for the greater good. And that does mean questioning and challenging authority. That's a huge part of Aquarius. Let me tell y'all, massive part of Aquarius, okay? Can confirm that we question everything, especially authority. Yeah, I don't do well with that. That's why I work for myself, because I can't have a boss. So that's my take on that. And that does kind of, it does transition into what I wanted this podcast episode to be. And that was an open floor for you all. I have unknowingly to you been performing some experiments over the last few months here on the podcast. And what I have noticed is when I do podcasts similar to this, okay, where I'm talking more about energetic shifts and transformations and my personal journey and saying shit that I normally would keep my mouth shut about, those are the ones that not only get the highest listen rates, but they get the most feedback from you all. And then when I go the more witchy route, as far as like cleansing methods, protection methods, things to do during October, those don't get as great. The stats aren't as great on those. And y'all's feedback, it still comes in, but it's nowhere near the feedback that comes in when I do more personal episodes. So that's what I wanted to ask you all today. And if you are if you're on the podcast tier for the Patreon, which is just the $5 a month tier, I'm going to put a poll up when this episode airs so that you all get like direct voting as far as the type of content you'd like to hear from me in the future. But I want to extend that to everyone. Okay. So if you are, and these are the ways you can contact me. Okay. I do want to make sure that is clear. Because I understand that like when I post a podcast, it just kind of goes out on the internet and like everywhere. And I don't always have control over certain platforms. Okay. So if you are listening to this on Spotify, you can definitely leave a comment. I get emailed about comments. Okay. Now I have noticed they don't come in immediately. So if it takes a couple of days for me to answer, that's because I think Spotify kind of holds on to them for a little while and then lets me know like, oh, you have 3 new comments. And I'm like, what the hell? But I do get the comments. Okay. If you are listening to this on our website, I can't help you. I mean, you can send a message through like the little contact us thing on our front page or send an email to support@inkguyscreations.com. Colin's going to get it, but he'll let me know. Yeah. I don't really hang out on TikTok anymore. I'm there. I post stuff over there, but TikTok is not my platform of choice. My platform of choice is still Instagram. So every Wednesday when I do have a new episode come out, I post a little reels with a sound bite for it. And that is the easiest way to contact me. So you can comment on that reels and I 100% get that. Okay. Sometimes I don't always get DMs though, because sometimes they go to my other folder and I'm like never notified about that. Okay. So commenting on the reels on Instagram, easiest way to give me your opinion, let me know your thoughts. But I would love to know, especially as we move into the darker part of the year, this is when a lot of witches do shadow working. They're really starting to dive down inside of themselves. I had a friend of mine ask me if I was planning on doing anything for Pluto going into Aquarius. Because like I'm so excited about it and I'm so ready for it. You know, she asked me, are you planning on doing any kind of ritual or anything? And I was like, you know what? I think I really just want to go internally. You know, I want to cry, let it out, get out everything that I, don't want to be carrying into the next 19 years. Fears, just let them all go. And I think I want to journal and meditate. So that's what a lot of people, like if you're being called to do that, it is this shift of Pluto moving into Aquarius, okay? Aquarians, just to give you, I am an Aquarian, just found out a few years ago though. So I'm a 0 degrees Aquarius, which means I put my mom through 47 and a half hours of labor in Capricorn to the minute that the sun entered the constellation of Aquarius, that's when I decided to come out. 47 and a half hours. She used to tell me every birthday how many hours of labor it was. So it was either 47 and a half or it was 49. Either way, a lot. I waited until the sun went into Aquarius. And the minute the sun was like, all right, we're in the constellation of Aquarius, I said, all right, I'm ready to come out. So I'm a very new Aquarius in the grand scheme of things. Okay. This is all new to me. This is, again, I'm going to go back to that word curiosity that I brought you all a couple of weeks ago in an episode. That is why I look through the eyes of curiosity at everything, because I am a brand new Aquarius, and Aquarians have to do with spiritual growth, intellectualism. So like I'm always asking questions. It's the element of air. So, doing things new. trying to break the mold, trying to do things outside of the box, thinking outside of the box. These are all traits of Aquarius. So this time, if you feel like going inward and really diving down inside of yourself for that spiritual growth, that personal growth, to figure yourself out, to communicate with your inner self, this is the time to do it. Okay. So that coincides a lot with the darker part of the year, which is when a lot of witches do shadow working. So we're at this pivotal point, I feel like, not only as a society, but me personally too. I'm also a small business owner. So this is the time of year when we start to look at next year. Like, what do I want to do for the business? What direction do I want to head in for Ink Spirit next year? You know, what type of new products do we want to provide? What type of services do we want to provide? And so looking ahead, what do you all want from Busy, Gritty, Inked, and Witchy? Do you all prefer more grounded, tips on witchcraft? Or are you here for the deeper shit, for my personal journey and shadow working and those deep introspective questions that leave you going, I never thought of it like that. Or maybe I should dive into that. Like, what do you all want from this podcast? That's what I want to ask you all today. So definitely let me know on, if you're a paid Patreon member, like I said, you're going to get access to the poll. So you can definitely let me know there. And you can even comment on the poll, I'm pretty sure. So like if you have other things to add, by all means, add them. But why do you come to Busy, Gritty, Inked, and Witchy? What are you here for? Are you here for just tips, witchcraft tips? Are you here for the deeper shit? Are you here to just see what the fuck I'm going to say that week? Like, these are all valid answers, by the way. But I definitely want to know because I love teaching. I do. I love teaching. And that's something that I'm really going to be amping up. I do know that much. That's something I'm really going to be amping up, in the upcoming year. And I'll plug something at the end of the episode. But I'm also a storyteller. And so if my stories, my personal stories, can help you or can relay information to you in a way that has never been relayed before and can cause you to think and question and grow, that is beautiful. And I love that. And that is my goal with everything that I do. And that is why I own a spiritual business. And that is why I work for myself and I can do whatever the fuck I want. And that is my main goal. I think whether it is the podcast, the Ink Spirit Coven, Ink Goddess Creations, and, the supplies that we create, that is my main goal, is to ask questions that make you think, make you question, and make you find out who you truly are so that you can be that person always. Yeah. And it's still a journey I'm on too. Like, I'm not here telling you all that, oh yeah, I always say and do exactly what I want. And I never think of what other people are going to think about me or say about me. No. Mm-mm. My husband he laughed at me. I went out to brunch with a couple of friends a few weeks ago. And it was a little cold outside, a little chilly. We keep getting little bursts here in Tucson of what could be deemed as fall weather. And I really, really, really wanted to wear flip-flops because I hate wearing shoes. I fucking hate wearing shoes. The only thing I can possibly tolerate is I have a pair of Toms that are just like slip-ons and slippers. I fucking love slippers. I would wear those everywhere if I could. And Chuck Taylors. That's about it. Anything more than those three, and I'm miserable. And so I asked him, I'm like, should I wear flip-flops? And he looks at me and he goes, you're 43 years old. Why are you asking me if you should wear flip-flops? And I'm like, well, I don't want to walk into a restaurant and have people be like, oh my God, she's wearing flip-flops. What the hell? And he goes, honey, do you think anybody's going to be staring at your feet? And I'm like, probably not. And he's like, and then if they were staring at your feet, why the fuck do you care if you're wearing flip-flops? And I'm like, I don't know. But I grew up a people pleaser. Yeah, it's trauma. But, and that's just sometimes that's how my brain reverts back, Did I end up wearing the fucking flip-flops? I sure did, because I'm fucking wearing flip-flops right now, you guys, and it's fucking 47 degrees outside. I don't give a shit, okay? I'm done giving shits, which I think is probably another part of Pluto and Aquarius. I really am turning up the I don't give a shit factor. So that's what I have for you all today. I really do honestly, truly want to know your opinions. So hit me up on Instagram. If you're part of the Patreon, hit me up there and let me know, because I want to know what brings you to my podcast, why you listen, what your favorite types of episodes are, and what you want to see more of in the future. Okay, so now I'm going to do all my plugging. First is Patreon. Oh, shit. That is one thing I did not do without prepping, was bring in the new people for this week. So I am going to have to do that next week. I apologize to those who have joined. I think there's been maybe 2 or 3 new members. I apologize because I literally came in here, sat down, and I don't know where I left off last week. I could pull up Patreon, but I don't know where I left off last week. Actually, I do. I remember right now because the last one was Courtney, spelled very uniquely. So if you all give me a second, I am, for those who are listening and not watching this, I am clicking away on my computer at the moment. Okay. I'm going to figure it out. Give me a second to do my Patreon shout outs. Anyway, this is patreon.com/inkedgoddesscreations. I have several paid tiers. If you join a paid tier, because the bottom one is Spellbound Sound. So if you join a paid tier, you get a shout out. And that's what I'm doing. Okay. Free members. There we go. I am here. So thank you to Gina, who joined Spellbound Sound. Patricia, Jamie, thank you. Who else? Hold on. I'm still scrolling. Give me a second. Cat. Oh, that's a very interesting spelling of cat. I love it. Those are my new members. I will definitely dive deeper into this, and if I missed anyone in between Courtney and Kat, if you've joined within the last week, I will make amends. I promise. But those are all of the ones I see that are paid members. Okay. Yay! I pulled that out of my ass. I'm so happy. So that's the first shout out. The second one is, I mentioned earlier, I love teaching. This weekend coming up on Sunday, November 24th, I am teaching a masterclass on pop culture magic. It is $27 for the class, but you get a 22-page PDF workbook. Then it is a live masterclass. So we will be meeting at noon Pacific time on that Sunday, the 24th in Zoom, where I will be teaching a class and you all can interact with me, all of that. If you are not able to make it live, I will be adding it. So we now have a little courses portal. Super cool. So that's where I'll be adding the replay. So you'll have lifetime access to the replay. It's not going to be a problem if you can't make it live. And then there's even a little community chat that's part of the course, and I love it. So I'm going to be teaching what pop culture magic is. It is using your favorite people, like celebrities, fictional characters, anything, to raise energy and to use their energy in magic. Not their energy, but their symbolic archetype energy in magic. And so if you are a witch and you do not have deities or you do not resonate with deities, pop culture magic might be your way to go. If you're a witch and you do have deities, but you want to add some more fun, pop culture magic could be for you too. So head to my website, and that's inkgoddesscreations.com. And the easiest thing to do is just go to the new products category and you'll see the pop culture magic class right there. Again, it's a live masterclass with a workbook. You get access to the replay. It's only $27. And yeah, that's what I'll be doing next weekend. So I want to thank you all for being here, for giving me a platform to share my knowledge and be myself. And yeah, that's all I have. So I will see you all again next week. Bye.